done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, for the record, for the record, for the record, for the record. Been a little too nice for y'all. Now I gotta outprice some y'all. Snake eyes and dice for y'all. Shoulders on ice for y'all. A6 all the hay. I woke in the bar today. Got lost in the ball and eggs. I'm flipping the balls and flipping the all record, I still count wins when they got it. All record, I let them take advantage. I was wildin'. All record deals. Tell them talk to college for the quote. All record, I still want the act, not the ghost. For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, 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 for the record.
Vaping's kind of like a plague.
Vaping is upsetting.
When I see my friends vaping and talking about how they spent this much money and how they've gone through this many vapes this week, just like really, it doesn't give me a positive outlook.
Like having to watch people die due to nicotine. In high school, a lot of my friends did vape, and at times I did feel like peer pressure to do it. Definitely prioritize your health and make sure that you are doing what's best for you. And if you need help, to reach out for it. Don't be afraid.
With me today, we're gonna have a good time. You've convinced me. I'm ready to switch my account. Oh my gosh. Specific answer. They're learning quick. Can we Google it? Whatever. Okay. He's a quick study.
There's so many words I want to say. Be careful. It is a love story.
You bet it is.
Fair.
I wasn't done.
Ask the questions that you think are silly. Thank you for joining. Bye.
There's nothing better than a Subway Series footlong, except when you add a new footlong sidekick, like the boss with a new footlong cookie. This might be my favorite sidekick ever. What?
Every epic footlong deserves a perfect sidekick.
Find your passion. Find your people. Find your purpose. Find your superior.
1-0 on Sunday in their last action. That game was played at Gusty Soccer Field down in St. Peter, Minnesota. In that contest, the Yellow Jackets and Gusties battled back and forth in a spirited matchup between the two sides. Matters remained scoreless through the opening 45 minutes before Gustavus took advantage of a Yellow Jackets defensive miscue that allowed Kieran Mahan to find Jack Isroff unmarked in the 6-yard area. Isroff then fired a shot past UWS keeper Patrick Sessions at 54-47 to provide the winning margin for Gustavus in that 1-0 final. For the game, UWS held a 12-11 edge in total shots, including a 3-2 advantage in shots on target. Sessions went all the way in goal for UWS, making one save and taking the loss. Meanwhile, Bethany Lutheran comes into this contest playing really well at the moment, sitting at 11-5-2 overall, 10-1 in the UMAG. Derek Lingholm in his 7th season at the helm of the Vikings program. They've won their last 7, have Bethany Lutheran, including defeating Hamlin in an impressive performance. 3-0 in their final non-conference game of the 2025 season at Shields Field in Mankato, Minnesota on Tuesday night. In that contest, the Vikings scored twice in the second half and held a healthy edge in shots in picking up that win. Goncalo Nolasco got the scoring started for the Vikings with his 7th goal of the season at 33 minutes to give Bethany Lutheran a 1-0 lead that carried over into the intermission. Vicente Oliveira then doubled the Vikings lead with his 5th tally at the year of 50-25 to make it 2-0 before Heis Van Eldik completed the scoring with his 6th tally of the season at 71-27 to make it a 3-0 final. For the game, Bethany Lutheran held a 26-8 edge in total shots, including a 9-5 edge in shots on target. Daniel Hughes, meanwhile, went all the way in goal for the Vikings, making 3 saves to get the shutout victory. So that's where the two teams stand here heading into this contest here in Superior. And with that being the case, we'll take our first break of the pregame show, sponsored by National Bank of Commerce, and come back with more, including a conversation with Yellow Jacket head coach Joe Mooney. That's coming up in just a few moments, so stick around for that. This is UWS Men's Soccer on 91.3 FM KUWS Superior and on Yellow Jacket TV, an affiliate of the UMAC Sports. Matt Johnson now joined by Yellow Jacket head coach Joe Mooney. And Coach, it's been a couple of weeks, I think, since we last chatted. There's been a lot happening since that time. Obviously, you guys are closing out the regular season with 2 home games here tonight against Bethany Lutheran and then tomorrow against Martin Luther with the chance to win another conference championship. We'll talk more about that in a second. But I want to go back to that game on Sunday against Gustavus. Second of back-to-backs. You had a really, really good performance against Minnesota Morris. I thought you really controlled things, did a good job. Spread the scoring around. A lot of guys got in, a lot of minutes. And then I thought you played a good game against Gustavus, but boy, one defensive lapse, one little bit of a mental mistake in the back, and unfortunately it ended up hurting you guys. But overall, I just want to get your feelings on how things are going here heading into this final weekend of the regular season.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Obviously, big conference game against Morris on Saturday, and thought our guys played really well in that game, and had to because I think Morris is trending in the right direction here late in the year, and I think they had some good questions for us to answer, and we were happy with the answers that we found. Some really nice goals, some really good play from us, and then the game against on Sunday against Gustavus. Again, I think we played really well, really well, and had to against a really good Gustavus side. And like you mentioned, I mean, it's one mistake leads to the goal, and unfortunately for us, it was a 1-goal game. I think both sides kind of knew it was going to be a low-scoring game, honestly, I think it's good for us though. It's this time of year where it's really good to learn those lessons that really just essentially 89.5 minutes of good soccer doesn't always guarantee a result. And it can be just one of those moments where a switch off happens or just a mistake is made and you get punished. Luckily for us, it happened before tournament time. Those are the type of teams that you're going to see in the tournament. And so, next week we start playoffs, and it's, we need to be aware that any mistake like that can, not just cost you a game, but it can end your season. And so hopefully, these are lessons that we've learned now throughout the season that, we'll go into playoff scenarios here where, we're a little bit more polished and kind of ready for some of those big moments.
I know you've had a few injuries and you've been moving some guys around as well. Orlando Fertelman, who's been kind of moved around quite a bit, actually. He's more of a defensive midfielder for the most part, kind of a holding midfielder. That's his typical role, playing on the outside for you. I thought he was really good, for the most part in both games. And I know, like I said, you're a little bit banged up there. But having a guy as versatile as Orlando must be nice also because you can move him around when you need to.
Yeah, and he's been terrific for us really all season, and really been a bit of that utility player. Obviously, we had a lot of confidence in him to play in that position over the weekend. And really two games back to back, I thought he was terrific. Not just in our build-out, which we obviously wanted out of him, but I think just defensively, his work rate, some of his recovery runs, man. I was really impressed with his performance overall. There was a costly error in there, but I know he. I think overall, the staff, the team, we were just very grateful that he's willing to step up and play in a position that isn't traditionally his own. And again, I thought just showcased a lot of really good things. And so, I think if you look at overall, just back-to-back games there, what he did, terrific find for us. And I think he's playing some of his best football here late in the season, which is exactly what you want.
Turning to the 2 games this weekend. First, of course, against Bethany, who's playing their best soccer of the year right now. They've won 7 in a row, and they've only given up 1 goal during that streak. Their last loss was to you guys. That's how far back it goes as far as their winning streak goes. So they're playing really well right now. And then Martin Luther tomorrow. But let's talk about the Vikings here for this game here tonight. They're a team that is somewhat similar to you guys in terms of numbers and in stats. They've been rolling right along. They had a really nice win, non-conference, to close out their non-conference season against Hamlin the other day. They scored 3 goals on the Pipers, played really well. It looks like they're really peaking at the right time, so it's going to be a big challenge tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it always is with Bethany. I think year after year, it's been the two of us that have kind of battled out in the conference, and for good reason. I think this year they're a little bit different look. They're good defensively. They're very good in the midfield. And then, up top, they've got a couple guys that are not the same traditional goal scorers that they've had in the past. I think they have more guys who can score and don't just rely on, one or two players to kind of be, sort of like the bell cow, and the scoring department. I think that they're dangerous. I think that they know how to move the ball well. There's a really kind of just organized approach to them on both sides of the ball. Defensively, especially, I think they're really good at channeling the play, sort of baiting you into pockets and then pressing in those pockets. And they can be dangerous as they break out. The first time we saw them, they narrowly missed a couple early opportunities that I think could have punished us. And a lot of it came from exactly that, just kind of working the opponent into pockets, baiting them into those pockets, and like I said, pouncing. And then the way that they broke out had a lot of real good substance to it too. So, I think this is going to be a really good one tonight. I'm excited to see kind of how our guys respond to the most recent loss. You mentioned Bethany comes off of a good confidence boosting win. 3-0 to Hamlin. It's a good Hamlin side this year. So, there's a lot. I think that both teams come in and kind of have something they feel like they want to prove tonight. So, it's always one of those that you look forward to, and I think both sides have been for really since we played each other last.
And I want to bring one more thing up before we let you go here, Coach. I want to talk about Seth Davidson a little bit more. Obviously, you were expecting a lot out of him. He was a star player at Sartell in high school. Made the transition to college, came off the bench for you. He's been starting a lot lately. Just comment on the maturity and how much he has grown into his role this season, because it seems like now he's become really a forefront player for you guys.
Yeah, he's been absolutely terrific. Really from day one, like our first training session, Matt, you saw just the quality there, the athleticism, the maturity, not just like the physical maturity, but you speak to him, his understanding the game, all of those things. And he really has had a terrific freshman season. Obviously provides adds a lot of value to what we're doing, fits in very well to our system. I think actually tweaks our system a little bit just because of some of the qualities that he has. And I'm really happy with how things have gone here. That said, I think he is still so hungry to get into essentially what'll be playoff soccer here starting next week. And I think he's also really hungry to develop. And I think the version that we see out of him freshman year, as amazing as it's been, I get really excited about what he's going to bring to the table in future years too, because he's got the work ethic, Matt. Like, I think he's going to be a guy that you see freshman year and say, that was really good, but man, like I think if we have a crystal ball to look ahead to like the development over the next couple of years, I think his best days are still very much ahead of him. And again, that's where you get really excited when a guy can do it right away, but he doesn't kind of act above it or have any of that ego to try to deal with. It's truly just like, how can I get better, and how can I make us better? And I love the attitude from him, and I think it's going to make him, like I said, not just good this year, but I think it's going to make him really good in the future as well.
All right, Coach. Well, as always, thanks for your time, and good luck for the next 2 days against Bethany Lutheran and Martin Luther.
Always appreciate you, Matt. Thank you.
That was Yellow Jacket head coach Joe Mooney. I'll be right back with more Yellow Jacket men's soccer right after this on 91.3 FM KUWS Superior and on Yellow Jacket TV, an affiliate of the UMAC Sports Network. Matt Johnson back now, joined by Yellow Jacket head coach.
Whoops-a-daisy. Matt Johnson back here at Superior Choice Credit Union Stadium, where the skies have opened up on us a bit here. We've had a bunch of rainfall here over the last, 20, 25 minutes, and the playing surface is pretty well drenched. There are puddles of water all over the track here surrounding the outside of the playing surface, and the temperature has also dropped, so it's going to be interesting conditions here for these two squads here in this one. A couple of serious notes before we get the opening kick, sponsored by Barker's Island Inn, off here from SCCU Stadium. UWS 24-4-2 all-time against Bethany Lutheran, dating back to their first matchup way back on September 11th of 2004. The Yellow Jackets are currently on a 6-game winning streak in the series, including posting a 3-0 shutout of the Vikings in their first matchup this season. That game was played back on October 4th at Shields Field in Mankato. In that matchup, UWS got goals from Rowan Wagner, Jake Kidd, and Freddie Watson, while holding an 11-8 edge in total shots, which also included a 6-2 advantage in shots on target. Patrick Sessions went all the way in goal for UWS that night, making 2 saves, while Brady Price took the loss for the Vikings with 3 stops. The Yellow Jackets, as I mentioned, looking for another conference crown. Would be 8 in a row for the Yellow Jackets if they can salt away these next 2 games and find a way to, like I said, get by the Vikings tonight and then Martin Luther tomorrow without suffering any kind of defeat along the way. The Yellow Jackets, as I mentioned, 10-0. The Vikings 10-1. This is their regular season finale, by the way. The Yellow Jackets still have tomorrow's game against Martin Luther to play tomorrow. By the way, we've had a change in the programming for tomorrow. Yellow Jacket men's hockey. We thought that would be a 7 p.m. opening face-off down in Fond du Lac against Marion. In fact, it is now a 4:30 opening face-off. So the 2 games that were supposed to be on the radio for tomorrow for UWS here on 91.3 FM will now be only streamed on Yellow Jacket TV. I think we should just get that out of the way right now. So we're just going to go ahead with that as well. So tomorrow's game against the Yellow Jackets, featuring the Yellow Jackets, in the Knights, which is scheduled for 3:30 p.m., will now begin at 3:20, and that will be only a Yellow Jacket TV broadcast. Same thing with the Yellow Jacket women's soccer game tomorrow against Martin Luther. That'll be a 1 p.m. opening kick, 12:50 the pregame, but that'll be only on Yellow Jacket TV. So kind of some last-minute changes here based on scheduling. We had some scheduling errors apparently on the hockey side of things, so that's what's pushed everything off to the side, and now we've had to kind of readjust on the fly here. So please make a note of that for all of you watching back home and also listening here on the radio. In the meantime, the 2 teams have been introduced. The national anthem was played before Game 1 of this doubleheader. The Yellow Jackets now breaking their team huddle. They're wearing their home whites with the gold and black trim as the rain continues to fall here. Meanwhile, Bethany Lutheran, they're driving blacks with the white trim. They'll be going from right to left, Jackets going from left to right as the opening kick, sponsored by Barker's Island Inn, is underway, and we are underway between the Yellow Jackets here and the Vikings. Thank you for joining us. Game 2 of our doubleheader, the Yellow Jacket women dropping Game 1 2-1 to Bethany Lutheran. Their first conference loss of the campaign, meanwhile, for Coach Nick Piazza and company. And now we'll see if the Yellow Jackets can at least gain a split for the day here against the Vikings here in game number 2. Jackets have done pretty well against the Vikings over the years, as I just mentioned. So we'll see, like I said, if they can get a split here on this side of the equation. In the meantime, it'll be a throw on the far side here. Our vantage point not real good right now, to be honest with you, as the rain continues to fall. And I've got some very wet, and I do emphasize wet, windows in front of me right now. So it's going to be tough for me to kind of keep up with everything going on, but I will do my best, so bear with me as the broadcast moves along. In the meantime, the Vikings trying to bust up now on the near side. The Vikings, though, their progress impeded by Rowan Wagner, who clears it into Bethany Lutheran territory, and now the Vikings will take possession here in their own end of the field. Bethany Lutheran coming in. Similar numbers to the Yellow Jackets. UWS coming in with 61 goals scored on the season, having given up 23, while Bethany Lutheran 60 goals scored and 21 given up. So, like I said, similar numbers. And you heard Coach Joe Mooney talk about it in our pregame that this is a little bit of a different looking Bethany Lutheran team than we've seen in the past. Typically, the Vikings have featured a lone striker up top that has kind of done most of their offensive work, but this is a much more balanced team for Coach Derek Lingholm this season, as the Vikings now coming into Yellow Jacket territory. Pass coming to the wing. It was intended on the near side for Miguel Goncalves, but the Yellow Jackets able to turn it back, and now coming out on the angle, here's Jake Kidd. He gets a shot away, and he scores! Boy, you're talking about not taking a whole lot of time. Jake Kidd on the outlet, coming in right side, getting a shot away with the right foot and putting it over the top of the starting keeper tonight for the Vikings, Daniel Hughes, and the Yellow Jackets. 1 minute and 49 seconds in the opening half, off to a great start here. They lead it by the score of 1-0. Impressive there because the Vikings had come up and the Jackets just catching Bethany Lutheran on an odd man rush back the other direction. And Kidd comes in on the right side, fires a shot away into the back netting for Jake Kidd. His goal number 11 on the season. And the Jackets, like I said, lead it by the score of 1-0. How about that for a start? And we'll see if they award an assist on that. But that's a goal scorer's goal for Kidd. He just came in and he was a little late off of his line. Kidd had gotten a step around the outside back on the right side and just fired one right over the top of Hughes in the back of the net. And the Jackets up by the score of 1-0, as I mentioned. So it'll be Joel Thomas getting the assist on the goal. And we'll see, again, very, very wet conditions here at SCCU Stadium. This is about as wet as it's been, I think, that we've done games here in the last 2 years. So, again, we'll see how that impacts things. But the Jackets out to a 1-0 lead. Now it's Bethany Lutheran. We'll try to answer by coming across midfield. Diego Cavalcanti now to the far side of the field. And now the Vikings will play the ball back into the middle. Jackets right now with 10 behind the ball as the pass comes right side now. Vicente Oliveira. He'll find Goncalves on the near side. Goncalves' ball. Angled toward the Yellow Jacket 18. Looking for Ted Tende. The Yellow Jackets able to turn it back, and now here's Kidd. Kidd now playing it on. Joel Thomas now in a foot race on the near side, and this one will be sent out, and it'll be a throw now coming up for UWS. We'll see who gets to take it here. Rowan Wagner looks like he wants to be the one to take it. He'll come running over now. Near side, Wagner has a big throw. The senior from McFarland, Wisconsin, here for the Yellow Jackets. And the native of McFarland, Rowan Wagner, will take the throw. Here's the toss. Flick toward goal. Hughes had to go up. It's still loose, and it's headed on in toward goal by Wiles, and they score! Wow, fireworks early here. I think it was Wiles. I'll have to get double check on that one. It's kind of hard, like I said, with these wet windows I'm trying to broadcast from here, but the initial shot on the throw from Wagner came in. Hughes put both hands to the ball, popped it up into the air. And then Wiles continued on with it and was able to head it in the side netting. And the Jackets with a 2-goal lead, and we're not even 4 minutes elapsed yet. That goal officially coming at 3:43. And I think it was Wiles. Okay. And it was Wiles. So holy smokes, we've got to catch our breath here a little bit. For Wiles, it's his second goal of the season. And the Jackets with a couple of haymakers at the Vikings here early, and they lead it by 2. Now Thomas sending that ball forward. This could be trouble. Here comes Kidd in again. Kidd with a shot attempt, and he'll score! And the Vikings are just melting down here. Holy smokes. Joel Thomas hitting Kidd on that one. Second time those two have linked up. I'm not sure what the Vikings were doing defensively there. They had 2 players in the back, and Kidd just ran right in between them. Took the pass. He was wide open, came inside, and just slotted a shot over the top of Hughes. And the Jackets now with 3 goals in a manner of 4 minutes and 22 seconds. It's a scoring fest here. So 2 goals for Kidd. He now has 12. Joel Thomas has 2 assists. Wiles with a goal. And it's 3-0. And I'm kind of gobsmacked, to be perfectly honest. I'm not quite sure I've ever seen this happen, especially for a team like Bethany Lutheran that is playing, came in having won 7 in a row, having only given up 1 goal in that entire run. Wow. Not quite sure what to say here. We'll see if it settles down now a little bit, but that was... Kidd just, like I said, ran right down the middle. There was nobody even within about 15 yards of him. Thomas just fed it to him. He was wide open, like I said, split 2 defenders. And he just fires one over the top of Hughes, and just like that, it's 3-0 now. And like I said, wow. If you're the Vikings, you're probably just trying to catch your breath here. Like I said, there's a couple of miscues there that just have not been accustomed to seeing from a Bethany Lutheran team, especially under Derek Lingholm. They tend to be pretty well coached and pretty well structured, but wow. In the meantime, here's now a cross coming into the Yellow Jacket 18 that skipped off the foot of the Bethany Lutheran player on the right wing. I can't see the number from here, but it'll be a goal kick here for UWS, but the Vikings haven't even been able to get a shot away yet, and the Yellow Jackets already have 3 in the back of the net. Sessions will take this goal kick. To see what the record is for most goals scored in the 5-minute period to start a game for the Yellow Jackets. As here's a ball now flicked by Thomas. Coming in on the right side was Kidd again, looking for an early hat trick. Time it was Seth Davidson flicking it over the top with that oncoming run by Jake Kidd, and that time the Vikings dealt with it, but holy smokes, like I said, it's been a rough start to say the least. It's pretty much a nightmare start if you're Bethany Lutheran. Throw now coming up on the near side will be taken by Goncalves. And the Jackets with Wagner now will just send it the length of the field. Now here's Kidd coming in now, putting pressure on Jamie Van Wylen, who's playing central defense back there now for the Vikings, and this one now will go out to play far side. And we'll have a throw now coming up for Bethany Lutheran. I think I used the word gobsmacked. I'm still kind of gobsmacked. I'm still trying to kind of process everything that we've seen here so far. As the throw comes in. Vikings now trying to go on the far side. 10-day. And 3 Yellow Jackets. Loses his footing. Jackets now able to turn it back. Here's Harvey McLaughlin for the Yellow Jackets, trying to play it forward. Now near side for the Vikings. It's Miguel Goncalves. Goncalves still coming forward. Now flicks it to the left side. Here's Vicente Oliveira. Oliveira now will go all the way back for Gonzalo Nolasco. Nolasco now will switch the field to the far side. Now picking out Martin Verlinro. Ballerino, excuse me, and now that one will go out to play far side of the field. And in fact, it's going to be a free kick, it looks like, for UWS back near the 18. We call him offside, is that what it is? Okay. Brian Wood, our center referee, he's already looking like a drenched man out there at the moment. I think just about everybody out there is going to be needing a hot shower after this one. It is raining fast and furious here. You can see it in the stadium lights. It hasn't slowed the Yellow Jackets down at all. In fact, couldn't ask for a much faster start if you're UWS. Now Sessions on the right side. Isaac Beckett with the touch over midfield. The Vikings will take over with Van Wyland. And now he'll go all the way back for Daniel Hughes in goal. Hughes, by the way, freshman from Panama City, Panama. As he sends it to the far side. Now the Vikings with Van Wyland. He'll trigger it now near side for Santiago Rios. Now it's Goncalves. Ball in the middle now. Here's Beckett. Losing his footing. Able to get it out now for Joel Thomas. Thomas now pumping it forward. Here's Kidd. Seth Davidson now. Here's Harvey McLaughlin for UWS. Now Beckett. Orlando Fertelman now, and Fertelman will go to the far side for Freddie Watson. Watson for the Yellow Jackets will play a ball back. And UWS now will set up with Callum Greening. Greening getting the start, by the way, on the left side defensively. Orlando Fertelman had played the last 2 games out there for UWS. Greening getting the start tonight. Fertelman back to his normal holding midfielder role. Jackets hoping to get Adam Caffel back at some point here before the end of the season. He had been the preeminent starter on that left side for most of the year before he suffered a lower body injury. And Fertelman has been playing on that spot for the last, like I said, couple of games. Now it's Callum Greenan, the native of Duluth, getting the start here for the Yellow Jackets tonight. In the meantime, now the Vikings playing on their own end of the field. Now Rios playing it up the middle. To the outside now, Van Wyland. He'll angle the ball now near side. Here's Oliveira. Left-footed cross comes in backside. Freddie Watson for the Yellow Jackets will collect it. Clear it with the left foot to the far side of the field. Okikas Di Modesto Nobre picks it up. Now back for the near side run of Goncalves. Goncalves in for Tende. Wild's able to take him off the ball, and the Yellow Jackets now will clear it. Back toward midfield. Jake Kidd waiting for it to settle at his feet. And Kidd now unable to keep it in near side. We'll have a throw coming up here for Bethany Lutheran. Quick throw now comes in. Here's Rios. Santiago Rios to the far side. Now he'll go all the way back for Van Wyland. Now he'll come near side for Nolasco. Goncalves again. Losing out this time as Seth Davidson, the freshman, takes over for the Yellow Jackets. And now here is Joel Thomas. And he'll play it off a Bethany Lutheran player near side. We'll have a throw coming up for UWS. 33.5 minutes now left in the opening half of this one. Somehow it feels like it's actually been longer than that, but that's because the Yellow Jackets have already scored 3 goals. And those 3 goals came in the opening 4 minutes and 22 seconds. In the meantime, throw comes in. This time it'll be for the Vikings to put the ball back in play. Recapping that scoring, by the way, 1:49, the time on the first goal. Jake Kidd, his first of 2 so far, his 11th at 1:49 to make it 1-0. Then Jacob Wiles off the throw from Rowan Wagner, unassisted, his second of the season at 3:43 to make it 2-0. And then Jake Kidd, less than a minute later, 4:22 off an assist from Thomas again, his 12th. And it is 3-0 in favor of UW Superior. In the meantime now, UWS coming back the other direction. Here is Beckett trying to trigger it near side, looking for Joel Thomas. That one broken up by the Vikings. Nice running tackle there by Fertelman. He doesn't like the call as center referee Brian Wood says he fouled him. And they're going to stop the clock here as one of the Vikings is down on the pitch here. 32 minutes, 10 seconds remaining, half number 1. Standing over this one, it looks like is going to be Nolasco here for Bethany Lutheran. And he will trigger the start now to the far side. Here's Van Wyland. Sending it back now for Nolasco. Van Wyland across the midfield stripe on the right foot. He'll hook it up into the air. Trying to get ahead to it there. I believe that was Liam Gosh who tried to get ahead to that ball, but couldn't quite bring it down. And now the Vikings will bring it near side with Rios. Tendai now. He'll send it near side. Here's Goncalves. And now overhitting a pass into the 18 was Rios. He was looking for Villarino. Overhit the pass, however. 31-20 now remaining as it goes over the end line. Goal kick for the Yellow Jackets. Sessions looks like he will be the one to get this one from his 6-yard box here. He'll take it. Gives it a ride toward midfield. This one skips into Bethany Lutheran territory. Now Davidson. He gets taken to the ground here by Villarino, and it'll be a Yellow Jacket free kick. They take it quickly. Now here's McLaughlin. Wiles will go to the far side. Here's Greenan. Callum Greenan. Landell Fertelman turning it over. Vikings intercepting with Oliveira. And now Vicente Oliveira on the right foot. Tries to switch the field. Now on the overlapping run. Shot coming strong side on the right side, and that one will skip wide and then the side netting. And it will be a goal kick here for Sessions. Approaching the quarter-hour mark here of this first half, the Vikings going to make their first substitution. EWS taking it quickly, and now Brian Wood says we got to try it again here. Substitution had not been completed. That was the reason for the restart here. Or the redo on the restart, I should say. Now here's Wiles off said restart. Fertelman to the far side. And Freddie Watson couldn't quite keep it in. Now offset throw. Vikings in Yellow Jacket territory. Joel Thomas able to create a turnover, and now here's Isaac Beckett. His pass intended for McLaughlin skips off of his foot. Picked back up now by Cavalcanti, and he'll go to the far side with it. Now Rios. Near side, Goncalves. Miguel Goncalves. Back for Rios. Cavalcanti now continuing it on. Cavalcanti now on the right side. Here's a shot attempt. That one skips just wide. I think getting a piece of that one for the Yellow Jackets with Sessions. First really good look that the Vikings have had here. And they will have a corner kick now near side flag. 28 minutes, 30 seconds remaining, half number one. A reminder at halftime, we'll have our first half summary. Look at the first half stats. We'll also give you our Yellow Jacket sports summary, update you on game one, which was a rough one for the Yellow Jacket women, to say the least, as they fall to Bethany Lutheran 2-1. Vikings handing the Yellow Jackets their first loss of the season in conference play. We'll talk all about that at halftime and just over 28 minutes of game time from now. In the meantime, offside corner kick. The attempt by the Vikings sailed well over the bar to our left, and it'll be a goal kick here for Sessions. Patrick Sessions, the senior from Brighton, England, for the Yellow Jackets, will take the goal kick here. And he gives it a ride toward midfield. Joel Thomas bringing it down on the right foot. And to pick out Seth Davidson. Davidson now starts stepping his way, trying to play it wide. Held up just a little bit long on the attempt, and now the Vikings trying to counter back. Here's Cavalcanti. Wiles intercepting. Now Thomas. Thomas now skipping it through. Takes a high hop now on the far side of the field. Here's Freddie Watson. Watson now turning and getting a shot away, and he'll leave it high with the right foot and over the top. Actually, it was Harvey McLaughlin, my mistake. Skipped through on that one, got away with the right foot, left it high. He was a little bit slow in reacting. Came out, couldn't quite get there, and now off the restart, Tende, and now he'll go down, and he will draw a foul. Ted Tende, the the freshman from Kinshasa, Dominican Republic. And off they restart. Ball to the far side of the field. Yellow Jacket territory. Now the play will go out, and it'll be a throw here coming up for Bethany Lutheran. 26-16 remaining, half number one. Ball coming back now. A left-footed ball into the 18, taken by Goncalves. Jackets able to break it up. Now here's Harvey McLaughlin. McLaughlin being bumped on that far side. Van Weilen came up to get him. And now this one will be tackled out of play. It'll be a throw here coming up for the Vikings. We're approaching the 20-minute mark, half number one. Tendai now on that far side. Now they'll play it on the near side. Switching the field of the Vikings now for Goncalves, near side on the Yellow Jacket territory. Play a left-footed ball back here now. Nolasco. Van Weilen now will trigger it right side. Now a couple of dancing moves on his left foot by Goncalves coming toward the Yellow Jacket 18, and it'll end up being tackled off of him out of play. Throw now for UWS. 24 minutes, 40 seconds left. Nobody warming up as of yet for the Yellow Jackets. And as I say that, a couple of guys taking off their warm-ups, getting ready to come in. Rowan Wagner on the throw. Flicked forward by Isaac Beckett, now picked up. Van Weilen will give it a ride with the right foot. Takes a funny hop. This is the danger of playing on this kind of surface, and now comes into the 18. Jackets, though, able to make a defensive play. Nicely done there by Freddie Watson, and now he'll angle the ball across midfield where it'll be picked off. But yeah, on a night like this where the rain's continuing to fall, the ball's going to skip just a bit. It doesn't matter what kind of surface you're playing on, that's pretty much the case. In the meantime, now in the back, here's Nolasco. Going to the right side, the Vikings now coming across the midfield stripe. Now back, here's Cavalcanti. Left-footed ball sent in now by Oliveira. Yellow Jackets able to break that play up. Now Fertelman to the far side. He'll touch it back now on the far side. On the wing, it's a left-footed ball taken by Freddie Watson that comes into Bethany Lutheran territory. And they'll go all the way back now for Hughes into the top of his own 18. Goncalves now. Going back now, Nolasco. And they'll play it short now for Rios. Santiago Rios. Switching it right side. Bethany Lutheran had a lot of possession ever since the Jackets scored that third goal, but UWS isn't going to mind that. Especially given the way that this game started. As Ranger back now, Cavalcanti. Cavalcanti now has it taken off his foot. Here's Davidson. Try to play quickly for Jay Kidd, and now Davidson picking it back up. Here's Kidd. Jay Kidd now running forward. Vikings able to intercept. Now they send it in the Yellow Jacket territory. Tendai trying to come forward. And now here's Wiles. As the ball comes right side, Tendai now staying down near the top of the Yellow Jacket 18 as UWS tried to trigger it to the near side wing. And Brian Wood's going to whistle for a stoppage here as we're more than halfway through this opening 25 minutes, 22-14, in fact, remaining half number one. Jackets leading up by a score of 3-0. Bryce Bolt. And looks like maybe Alfie Hudd, the two substitutes here for UWS on the far side. Tendai now up to his feet. And we'll have a drop ball here now. By the way, fans, can't get enough of the Yellow Jackets. Tune in to Eye of the Swarm, the official podcast of Yellow Jacket Athletics. Join Sean Garver and me throughout the years. We sit down with the Yellow Jacket student athletes, coaches, and other guests. Eye of the Swarm is available on uwsyellowjackets.com/podcast, Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcasts. Back to live action now. The Vikings going to cross one into the 18. That one headed up the middle. Here's a shot taken by Villarino, I think. And it skips wide to the left as I'll allow UWS now to make the substitutions. Bolt comes in. He'll take out Jake Kidd, who's already put a day's worth of work in offensively, to say the least. He'll check out. Also checking out for the UWS, Harry McLaughlin, it looks like. And they're going to have, looks like Isaac Beckett play more of an attacking midfield role now. They're going to have Alfie Hudd play the holding midfield role. And maybe have kind of a double holding midfield with Orlando Fertelman in there as well. In the meantime, it's goal kick here for Sessions. Gives it a ride toward midfield. That one will be headed wide and out of play into the Yellow Jacket bench across the way. It'll be a throw now for UWS. Callum Greenan takes the toss. And that one will go out of play far side. The Vikings will play back in their own end of the field. Turning is Rios. Feeding it near side now. It's Goncalves. Back in the middle now for Rios. And go to the far side with it. Now they drop it. Villarino. Rios. Jackets again defending with 10 behind the ball here. And now we're going to have a foul called on UWS. And a good spot for the Vikings, about 25 yards away from goal. As we go under 20 minutes remaining in the opening half. Standing over this one now, a couple different players. Cavalcanti on the right foot. It looks like Villarino on the left foot. And the shot will come in from Villarino, and it'll be parried away with both hands by Patrick Sessions over the end line. It'll be a corner kick here coming up for the Vikings. Corner kick now coming in near side. To the outside now. In the middle of the 18. Jackets able to clear it to the far side. Now the Vikings keeping it on the end line and trying to get the crossaway. It'll deflect out off of Jacob Wiles for the Yellow Jackets. It'll be, actually it's Greenan, I think, that had to deflect off of him. It'll be a corner kick here for the Vikings. They're going to make a substitution here. In the meantime, this will be an in-swinger with the left foot. Comes into the 18, headed away now by UWS to the far side. And that one now will go out of play, and we'll have another throw here coming up for the Vikings. 18-18 and counting, remaining half number one. It's been all Jackets here so far. As this throw comes in, now here's Rios. Heavy touch, able to win it now is Jacob Wiles. And now here's Bryce Bolt. Going 1-on-5, Bolt. Coming forward, Bolt still on the go. Bryce Bolt now, and he'll be run down near side by the Vikings Goncalves. But the Jackets maintaining possession now. Isaac Beckett angling it in far side, and Hughes will win the race to that one, and he'll grab it on the edge of his own 18, and will hold on to it here. Looks like it's Kyle Massingham that's getting ready to check in for the Jackets at the next opportunity. As this ball now played near side. Edge of the Yellow Jacket 18 on the right foot. Turning, getting a shot away, and having it skip off the right side of his boot is Oliveira. It will be now a goal kick for the Jackets, and that'll allow UWS to make the substitutions. Massingham's going to come in. He'll take out Davidson. And looks like it's Ben Lyman that's going to check in here for UWS. And Callum Greenan is going to take a break. So Lyman will play on the right side. They're going to move Wagner to the left. And Wiles will stay in the middle. Yeah, Sessions takes the goal kick. Now headed forward. Wagner trying to measure that ball. Alfie Hudd getting his foot to that one for the Jackets, sending it over the midfield stripe. Now it comes near side for Goncalves. Goncalves now. Back to the far side for Jamie Van Wyland. And now Rios. Goncalves advancing forward now on the left foot. Gets around Joel Thomas. Before Thomas comes back and strips him of the ball on the right foot. Now Fertelman back for Joel Thomas. And this one will go out of play. And the throw will come in now for the Vikings near side. Approaching the 30-minute mark here with 3-0 Yellow Jacket lead if you're just joining us. And now we'll have a throw for the Yellow Jackets on a mishandle by the Vikings near midfield. Throw in Bethany Lutheran territory will be taken here. It appears by Isaac Beckett. In fact, he's going to give way now for Ben Lyman, who will take it. If you joined us late, and by the way, late would mean about 5 minutes into this one. Jackets with 3 goals in the first 4 minutes and 22 seconds here this half to lead at 3-0. Under rainy and blustery conditions here at Superior Choice Credit Union Stadium. Now the ball bounding around in Bethany Lutheran territory. Here's Massingham. Joel Thomas now. We'll keep it down, and we'll have a free kick here coming up. Recapping those scoring again, it's quite remarkable. Jake Kidd got us going at 1:49 of the first half, his 11th from Joel Thomas. That made it 1-0. Then a minute and 54 seconds later, Jacob Wiles makes it 2-0 off of a throw-in from Rowan Wagner, and then Kidd, a whole 39 seconds later, makes it 3-0, his 12th. Again, the assist to Thomas, and the Jackets, like I said, leading it by the score of 3-0, and that's where we've been ever since. Meantime for the Vikings now on the near side. Vicente Oliveira, and he'll send it to the far side. Here's Van Wyland now for Bethany Lutheran. Angling a ball. In the 18, Tendai going to come and give some pressure on Patrick Sessions, who waits just a few seconds before he'll scoop that one up. And Sessions will get a ride now over midfield. This one takes a high hop. Van Wyland. Check it. It was Nolasco heading it wide. Now Alfie Hudd for UWS has his legs taken out from under him, and that'll result in the foul. Right near midfield, free kick for UWS here, 13:29 and counting remaining, half number 1. Reminder at halftime we will have our first half summary, a look at the first half stats. We'll also give you our Yellow Jacket sports summary, all that coming up at halftime. And our halftime programming, as usual, sponsored by Hovland Incorporated. In the meantime, here's a free kick now coming up. Wagner standing over this one on the right foot. Clock stops, and now we're having an extended conversation. We have to add some time to the clock, or somebody's going to get a card maybe. On that far side, Brian Wood running over, and we'll see if they adjust the clock here. 13:04 right now on the stadium clock. We're going to add, looks like 8 seconds, so it's going to be 13:12 now remaining. Wagner for the Jackets now hits it over the top. Here's Freddie Watson on the far side. Watson for the Jackets, playing it into toward the 6, and he was off of his line, will smother it before Bryce Bolt could get there for UWS. Now he'll roll it near side. Goncalves had it at his foot, lost his footing, came in, took out a Yellow Jacket's legs. It looks like it's Isaac Beckett who's down. Meanwhile, Alfie Hudd continuing to play on for UWS. Now Fertelman trying to play it in behind, but that one will be let go by Joel Thomas. Hughes will pick it up. Beckett back to his feet now. Trying to run it off on the far side. Isaac Beckett about as tough as it gets, by the way. Only 5'9", and he takes his fair share of knocks because of the way he plays, and now he is down again. And now Brian Wood will finally stop play here with 12 minutes and 14 seconds left. In the first half here, like I said, it's been all Yellow Jackets offensively in this one. And now after a stoppage, Isaac Beckett still got hobbling around out there. We get the restart. Van Weilen playing in his own end of the field now. We'll go all the way back in the middle. Nolasco to the near side for Rios. Now up the middle. Fertelman able to take it back. And now here's a chance for the Jackets to break. Fertelman coming forward. Now Bolt. Edge of the 18, plays it back into the middle. And the Vikings able to deal with it this time as they clear it back toward midfield. Here's Beckett. New player in the game, by the way, is Heis Van Eldik for Bethany Lutheran. He won that ball back. Now left-footed attempt toward the Yellow Jacket 18 by Goncalves. Intercepted by UWS. Now 10-day. 10-day to the near side. Left-footed cross comes into the middle. Wild's able to get there with his head for the Yellow Jackets. And now here's another chance for UWS to break. Fertelman dragging it now for Bolt. And getting there first and clearing it away from danger was Nolasco for the Vikings. Out of play. It'll be a throw now for the Yellow Jackets. UWS will make some substitutions. Melvin Anderson checking in for the first time. Taylor Moore also in for UWS. And as the clock continuing to move here, Isaac Beckett's going to check out. As the throw comes in, far sideline. Fertelman now off the throw. In the middle now. Here's Moore. And the ball taken off his foot. It'll come now toward the midfield stripe. Lyman for the Yellow Jackets measuring it. Sends it to the far side of the field. And we'll have a foul called here on Bryce Bolt. Shot so far 5-4 in favor of the Vikings. The Jackets with a 3-1 edge in shots on target, and all three of those have found the back of the net. They lead it 3-0 here as we go under 10 minutes remaining, half number one. Santiago Rios now for Bethany Lutheran. Will play it short, near side. Here is Vicente Oliveira. Back now for Rios. And the Vikings will now try to reset near side. Goncalves. Bellarino now will go all the way back in the middle. Here's Nolasco. Now an angling ball over the top. Over the top of Melvin Anderson. In fact, over the top of everybody. And it'll come out of play near side. Throw coming up now for the Yellow Jackets. As the throw comes in now from Ben Lyman. Bolt now turning. Melvin Anderson. Fertelman now. For Massingham. Back for Fertelman. Pass was off the mark. Vikings able to turn it back. And now this one will be headed wide. Melvin Anderson able to keep it in. Now here's Moore doing battle near sideline with Goncalves, deep in Bethany Lutheran territory, and we're going to have a foul called on the senior Taylor Moore. The T2 transfer whistled for that one, and we will have a free kick now for Bethany Lutheran. Vikings now triggering it short. Goncalves going all the way back now for Hughes. Now they go all the way back. I'm not sure what the thought process there. That was dangerous as Villarino finally able to play it now, and Van Weilen's ball forward, intercepted by UWS. Alfie Hudd now for the Jackets will take it wide in his own territory. Finds Melvin Anderson. And this one ping-pongs around off of a couple of sets of feet. Goes out of play. It'll be a throw now for the Vikings. First of two regular season finales here for UWS, as I mentioned. I'll be playing Martin Luther here to formally close out the regular season of 2025 tomorrow. That'll be our next broadcast. That'll be a Yellow Jacket TV broadcast only. We need to make that known. It was originally scheduled to be on the radio, but we found out later this afternoon that the men's hockey broadcast scheduled for tomorrow. Game we originally thought was going to be a 7 p.m. opening faceoff. Now it's set for a 4:30 start. So as a result, we will make some programming changes, but you will be able to catch the Yellow Jackets again on Yellow Jacket TV tomorrow with yours truly. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we have 6 minutes and 45 seconds remaining, half number one here at Superior Choice Credit Union Stadium. Jackets with 3 goals up on the board, leading at 3-0. And an offensive explosion, and now we're going to have a stoppage as off a throw coming in. Players getting a little bit up close and personal. Some probably not so friendly words being said by both sides here, I would think, with 6:34 left. Evan Ludwig, my producer from Yellow Jacket TV, I think got a big smile out of that statement I just made, but I'm not quite sure how else to describe it. There's a lot of chitter-chatter happening, and it usually is pretty spirited between these two sides. And the conversation continuing on here. Brian Wood, our center referee, right in the middle of it. And to make sure everybody keeps a cooler head here. And in the meantime, we will have a free kick here for the Vikings as they bend it into the Yellow Jacket 18. Out on top now. This is Rodrigo Cardoso, who came in as a substitute a moment ago. Actually, several moments ago. Now Nolasco fighting with Bryce Bolt in the near side corner. And Bolt will draw the foul. It'll be a free kick here for the Yellow Jackets. Patrick Sessions will come over and take it. As we continue on here, the rain has lightened up a little bit, but it's still pretty darn wet down there. As Sessions gives it a ride toward midfield, now headed near side. Ben Lyman for UWS will pump it forward toward the corner in Bethany Lutheran territory. It'll go out of play, and they're going to say it went out off of Bolt, who incredulous on the call. It'll be a throw here coming up. Ticking down toward the last 5 minutes of half number one here. Throw coming in now. Van Eldick turning, and now he'll draw a foul against Orlando Fertelman, and now Fertelman's going to draw a card, I have a feeling, on this. As he sent the ball forward, and it will be our first booking. It will be Orlando Fertelman with 5:17 remaining, half number one that goes into the book. And we'll have a free kick now for the Vikings. Standing over it is Miguel Goncalves. Looks like Fertelman's going to check out now due to that card. And Valentin Soros is going to come in for him. Or is it Jimmy Jamison? I'm trying to check the jersey here. Up it's Jimmy Jamison. Just needed him to turn his back. And I got the number right. Jimmy Jamison in there for the Yellow Jackets now as we get the restart. Vikings heading toward the 18 in UWS territory. Headed down now by Ben Lyman. Taylor Moore comes in to collect for UWS. And now Rowan Wagner will send it to the far side wing. This is Valentine Soares for the Jackets. Trying to nurse that one forward for Moore. That one broken up by the Vikings defensive. Now Wiles. Lyman will pop in the air with the left foot near midfield. And now the Vikings will try to release near side. Villarino will go all the way back now. Nolasco to the near side now, Goncalves. Anderson now popping it back in the air for the Yellow Jackets. And now they'll play it all the way back for Hughes, who was in the wrong spot. Had to track back quite a ways and was 18 to get to that ball. Picks it up, though, and we'll send it to the far side. Now Anderson has it skip off of his boot as they switch the field near side. Throw now for the Vikings. They take it quickly. Miguel Goncalves. First teammate Van Eldick goes out of play off of the Vikings. It'll be a throw now for UWS. And it looks like Jordan Altman will check in for the Jackets. Taking out Bryce Bolt with 3.5 remaining, half number 1. In the game that has settled down since those first 5 minutes. I'm not sure we could have kept up the pace anyway. That was probably one of the craziest 5 minutes of soccer I've seen in quite a long time. As Jamison now for the Jackets, playing it wide, looking for Soares. Now the Vikings turning in their own territory, far wing. They turn the ball over. Here's Soares. Altman playing it up the middle. Massingham now. Moore coming in. He overran the ball, top of the 18. And the Vikings now with Rios. Playing it near side, and this one will deflect out for a UWS throw with 2:40 now left. It'll be Ben Lyman that'll take the throw. Lyman's throw, headed up in the air. Goes out of play, another throw now for UWS. Lyman's throw now into toward the 6. Laying there for a second, and they're going to call either a handball or a foul against Jordan Altman at the edge of the Bethany Lutheran 6. As we go under 2 minutes now left, half number 1. It's been all Yellow Jackets so far offensively. 3-0 UWS. As we go off the restart. Van Weiland in his own end now will go all the way back for Hughes. He and Altman exchange pleasantries. Now the ball comes near side for Rios. Nolasco. Goncalves. Tende now trying to come forward. Turning on the right foot. That ball deflects up the middle. Now Wiles. And a foul going to be called now on Cavalcanti as he took out the legs of Jacob Wiles from behind as we go under a minute remaining. Half number 1. And the clock will stop with 57 ticks of the clock remaining here. In the first 45 from Superior Choice Credit Union Stadium. Very wet and soggy SCCU Stadium. It was dry for the women's game, but then about 15, 20 minutes maybe before the start of play in game number 2 of our doubleheader, the skies opened up and it just drenched everything on the field. And like I said, there's still standing puddles right now on the track on the outside. But it hasn't affected the Yellow Jackets a whole lot. They lead it 3-0 as here's the free kick now from Sessions. Rios to the far side. Here's Van Wyland. He'll trigger it now near side. Vicente Oliveira for Bethany Lutheran. Now Nolasco coming forward. Crosses the midfield stripe. Plays it on. Looking for a Cardoso. Lyman there for UWS. Sends it back for Sessions. And now he'll just clear it himself toward midfield. Flicked forward with half a minute remaining in the first 45. Off the head of Altman. Now Van Wyland. Bringing it forward. Wiles will win it down. Melvin Anderson for UWS. Now he plays it right into the path of Van Eldik. And Heist Van Eldik now coming into the 18. Trying to cross it through the middle, and Tende couldn't find it. 8 seconds now remaining. 5 seconds, 4. 2 seconds, 1. And that is how the first 45 minutes will end here from Superior Choice Credit Union Stadium. Impressive by the Yellow Jackets. They jumped all over the Vikings in the first 5 minutes, scoring 3 times. And they will head into intermission with a 3-goal lead. Your score at the break, UW Superior 3, Bethany Lutheran nothing. We'll take a quick break and come back with our halftime programming sponsored by Hovland Incorporated. That's coming up right after this. This is UWS Men's Soccer on 91.3 FM KUWS Superior and on Yellow Jacket TV, an affiliate of the UMAC Sports Network. Matt Johnson back here at SCCU Stadium here on the campus of the University of Wisconsin-Superior. And boy, what a half that was for the Yellow Jackets. Things really settled down after the first 5 minutes, although can't really blame the two teams. If we had kept up that pace, we might have had a record goal-scoring performance here. But as it is, all the Yellow Jackets needed was those first 5 minutes, as it turns out, to take control of matters, and they lead it by a score of 3-0 here at halftime against Bethany Lutheran. Jackets can't officially clinch the UMAC regular season title tonight, but they all but did so in that first half. Yellow Jackets would have needed, by the way, to lose the number 1 seed. Hanging in this one, more than likely would have had to have lost this game by 4 goals or more. Instead, they come out in pot 3 in the first 5 minutes. And they are now in command here as we jump into our halftime programming, sponsored by Hovland Incorporated. The Yellow Jackets, like I said, in that first 5 minutes, scoring 3 times. Jake Kidd getting it started for the Yellow Jackets at 1:49, the Superior native, with the first of his 2 goals in that string. Taking a pass from Joel Thomas on an outlet and coming in and roofing a shot over Daniel Hughes. Again, the time on that one, 1:49. The Jackets were up 1-0. 1 minute, 56 seconds later, Jacob Wiles for the Yellow Jackets off a throw-in deep in the corner from a teammate Rowan Wagner. The initial header by Wiles was stopped by Hughes, although he popped it straight in the air, and the 6'3" Jacob Wiles able to find the rebound and headed home for his second of the season unassisted, and that made it 2-0 for the Yellow Jackets. And then a whole 39 seconds later, it's Jake Kidd with his second of the game. Another assist from Joel Thomas, the 12th of the season, This was one that really surprised me. Jake Kidd was left wide open, running right down the middle of the field, split two Bethany Lutheran defenders. There wasn't anybody within about 15 yards of Jake Kidd when he got that pass. Came in, and he just fired a rifle shot pass. He was in the back of the net. Second of the game, 12th of the season. And that's where we stand here at the break as the Yellow Jackets lead by a score of 3-0. Things really settled down from there. In fact, there was only a combined 10 shots taken in the first half, 5 each way, although the Yellow Jackets have a 3-1 edge in shots on goal. 2 corner kicks in the opening 45 minutes, both of them taken by the Vikings. 2 yellow cards, 1 each way in that opening half, and a total of 13 fouls were called, 10 of them against the Yellow Jackets. Meanwhile, there was 1 offside call against the Vikings as well. And in terms of saves in the contest, Patrick Sessions for the Yellow Jackets has 1 stop in goal through 45 minutes, while Daniel Hughes so far looking for his first stop in goal for the Vikings. So that's your story here. 45 minutes up, 45 minutes to come for the Yellow Jackets and the Vikings here. And with that being the case, we'll take another extended audio break before we come back with more of our halftime programming, including a look at what else is going on with Yellow Jacket Athletics. All that coming up in about 2 or 3 minutes. So stick around for that. This is UWS Men's Soccer on 91.3 FM KUWS and on Yellow Jacket TV, an affiliate of the UMAC Sports Network. Back here at SCCU Stadium, about 9 minutes and change away from the start of the second half here between the Yellow Jackets and the Vikings. We'll jump into our Yellow Jacket sports summary, including a look at game number 1. It did not go well for the Yellow Jacket women today, suffice it to say. In the game we had earlier today, that game was on 91.3 FM streaming and also on Yellow Jacket TV. The Yellow Jacket women's soccer team dropping their first conference match at a very inopportune time as they fall to Bethany Lutheran here. 2-1 your final score here in Superior. Yellow Jackets now 8-7-4 on the season, 7-1-3 in the UMAC. Neve Larson with the Yellow Jackets' lone goal, her 10th of the season at 88-39 to make it a 2-1 final. But Bethany Lutheran scored a goal in each half. They got a couple of goals. Riley Ping scored the first one for the Vikings. Meanwhile, Elena Lujan Rubio with her 20th of the season for the Vikings as well in the second half. And the Yellow Jackets really didn't create a whole lot from there in the second half. Disappointing performance for UWS. They lose that game despite outshooting the Vikings 20-9 and 9-5 in shots on goal, but UWS goes down to defeat by that 2-1 margin. Up next for the Yellow Jacket women, they'll be closing out the regular season tomorrow at home here, taking on Martin Luther. That'll be a 1 p.m. opening kick, 12:50, 12:55, the pregame, something like that. That game, by the way, originally was supposed to be a joint broadcast on 91.3 FM KUWS and Yellow Jacket TV. You can scratch that. It'll now be just a Yellow Jacket TV broadcast only tomorrow with yours truly. Volleyball, meanwhile, 18-8 overall in the season heading into the night's action. They are 7-1 in the UMAC. They won their second straight last Saturday, defeating Bethany Lutheran in a very impressive performance by Coach Lynn Diedrich and company, sweeping the Vikings 3-0 at the North Gym in Mankato, Minnesota. In that match, the Yellow Jackets down the Vikings by set scores of 27-25, 25-17, and 25-20, while hitting 317 as a team in the match. Outstanding numbers for UWS on that one. With that win, UWS has now defeated Bethany Lutheran 17 straight times, dating back to September 16th of 2017. Offensively, UWS was led by McKenna Holbein, who had 13 kills and 9 digs while hitting 391 for the match. From the setter position, Colleen Claude and Gabby Schwartz combined to dish out 41 assists in the match, while defensively, the Yellow Jackets were paced by Savannah Herring with 15 digs. Holbein was subsequently named UMAC Offensive Player of the Week in the volleyball side of things, while Herring was named UMAC Defensive Player of the Week. They were taking on North Central tonight, and according to Gus Schupp, who is my engineer back at 91.3 FM, UWS up 2-0, and now in set 3, 21-18 up on North Central, so it looks like they're on their way to 19-8 and 8-1. Big match for them tomorrow, taking on Northwestern over at the Mertz. That's a 1 p.m. opening serve, I think, there, too. Is it not? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Men's and women's cross country. Both teams were idle last week, but they'll both be running at the 2025 UMAC Cross Country Championships tomorrow down in Winthrop, Minnesota at the Winthrop Golf Course. Men's race will kick things off at 12 noon, while the women's race will begin at 1 p.m. down there. Women's hockey is opening their season this weekend with a pair of non-conference contests, taking on Lake Forest down the street at Westman Arena. Opening face-off tonight against the Foresters in Game 1, scheduled for 7 p.m., while the opening face-off for Game 2 of the series tomorrow is scheduled for 2 p.m. And last but not least, men's hockey opened their season with a non-conference road matchup against Marion at the Blue Line Family Ice Center in Fond du Lac tomorrow. That was originally, we thought, a 7 p.m. opening face-off. That'll actually be a 4:30 p.m. opening face-off, hence the change in programming. That will be a 91.3 FM KUWS broadcast with John Garver on the call pregame. That one, by the way, scheduled for 4 o'clock. So that is what's coming up here in the next few days. And what else is going on with the Yellow Jacket Athletics? By the way, we should give you a quick note on our upcoming schedule, also on 91.3 FM. As far as broadcasting, I talked about it. Tomorrow, both the soccer games now will be on Yellow Jacket TV. They were originally scheduled to be here on 91.3 FM KUWS as well. But instead, it will be men's hockey. That'll be the lone radio broadcast tomorrow. That at 4:30 p.m. again, opening face-off, 4 o'clock, the pregame with John Garver. We also have men's and women's UMAC Conference Tournament soccer coming up. The women might not be at home now. I'm not quite sure. We'll have to see what the loss today did to the standings and the seedings for the UMAC tournament. The men will be at home. That'll be our next radio broadcast of men's soccer. That'll be coming up on November 5th, this coming Wednesday. For more information on who the Yellow Jackets will be hosting that day, you can go to uwsyellowjackets.com to find out who the Yellow Jackets will be playing and at what time on that Wednesday. So that's going to bring an end to our halftime programming, sponsored by Hovland Incorporated. And with that being the case, we will take one more quick audio break and then come back with the start of the second 45 minutes of this contest between the Yellow Jackets and Bethany Lutheran. That's coming up. And like I said, about 3 or 4 minutes. This is UWS Men's Soccer on 91.3 FM KUWS and also on Yellow Jacket TV, an affiliate of the UMAC Sports Network. Well, it looks like the rain is going to hold off at least for now. As we come back to Superior Choice Credit Union Stadium, we've actually been able to open the windows now up here a little bit. It's a little bit cold, but I'd still take this over what we had earlier on when I was doing the pregame show. I literally had water splashing me in the face as I was doing the pregame. So kind of a unique experience before we finally pulled all the cameras in and slid shut the windows. Now they're back open again, and we're ready for the second half of this one between the Yellow Jackets and the Vikings. I will say this, it's a pretty brisk wind, but I don't mind some cool, crisp air at this time. Of course, happy Halloween, by the way, to all of you who are listening out there or watching on Yellow Jacket TV. We hope you're dry wherever you are. We're a little bit soaked where we are right now, but at least the rain has stopped on the actual field for the time being. In the meantime, the Vikings will kick off. They'll be going from left to right here in the second 45 minutes. That was really something, and thankfully we get the second 45 minutes underway now. The Vikings will play it all the way back. This is Jamie Van Wylen, who will now trigger it near side for Kikas Di Modesto Nobre. And the Vikings now will try to come forward with it with Van Wylen. Switching it to the far side now. Gonzalo Nolasco now for Oliveira, and now they'll go all the way back for Hughes. Jackets, you would think in the second half, going to be content to just kind of play behind the ball here. They don't need to do anything else offensively, obviously. At least you would like to think not. In the meantime, ball to the far wing now, finds the feet of the aforementioned Vicente Oliveira. And the Vikings trying to come forward now as this one goes out of play far side. We'll have a throw now for Bethany Lutheran. Vikings, this is their regular season finale, so their next action will be in the UMAC tournament. Jackets, as we mentioned also during halftime and throughout the broadcast, have one more regular season game to go tomorrow against Martin Luther before they enter the UMAC tournament. In the meantime now, here's a ball through the middle by the Vikings in Yellow Jacket territory. Rowan Wagner, the first there for UWS, will clear it with the right foot. Now the Vikings pick it up. Far side, it's Goncalves to the far side, Oliveira crossing it toward the 6. Ball bounding around, flag goes up, and we're going to have either an offside call or a goal kick. Either one of those, it's going to be a free kick for UWS. In the meantime, it looks like they are going to call an offside. And that's about as tight an offside as you can get. Right on the end line, practically. Meantime, Sessions will line this one up. He'll take the free kick here. And he will give it a right up the middle. 10-day now, bringing it down for the Vikings. Trying to trigger it across. Now Rowan Wagner will volley it forward. Van Wylen plays it right into the feet of Harvey McLaughlin for UWS. And now he'll play it near side. Here's Seth Davidson, the freshman. Davidson for the Yellow Jackets. Isaac Beckett. Now he'll distribute to the far side. Here's Joel Thomas, who's working on a 2-assist game, crossing it back post. Now headed up by Davidson, and that one will go high and wide. And it will be a goal kick here coming up for Daniel Hughes, who still has yet to make a save in this contest. Jackets, 3 shots on goal, all 3 of them finding the back of the net. And now we have the restart here for Bethany Lutheran. Van Wylen. He'll give it a ride now in the Yellow Jacket territory near side. That went over the top of Nobre. It'll go out of play. It'll be a throw now for the Yellow Jackets. Rowan Wagner lining it up. Wagner's throw. Flicked forward now. Isaac Beckett headed centrally there by Jake Kidd, who's working on a potential hat trick tonight. He's already got a brace for the evening. Now Wagner over midfield, and now it's picked up here by the Vikings. It'll be Nolasco that'll go to the far side with it. Oliveira. Now Cavalcanti coming all the way back. He'll send it near side for Jamie Van Wylen. Now ball to the far side of the field in Yellow Jacket territory. Vikings being very patient here so far. Cavalcanti now playing it up the middle Turning and getting a shot away, and that one deflects wide. Good look that time for Bethany Lutheran. Turning and getting that shot away with the right foot was Juan Campos. It'll be a corner kick, third of the match here for the Vikings. Far side corner flag. Approaching 5 minutes elapsed, second half here. And here is the high arcing corner kick. Backside of the 18, off the head of a couple of players, and out of play for a Yellow Jacket throw near side. Wagner looks like he'll be the one to take it here. Here's Wagner's throw. Headed in the middle now. Flicked up in the air, now to the far side. Wiles had it skip off the right side of his foot, but it's still found its way for Joel Thomas, who was the intended target anyway. And this one now will go out of play, far side. Throw for the Yellow Jackets right near midfield. Looks like it'll be Ben Lyman that'll take this throw. Lyman's throw. Back up the middle. Now flicked up in the air. Nobre taking over here for the Vikings. Clipping it wide. For Liam Gosh. That one broken up by UWS. Freddie Watson, and now here's Harvey McLaughlin. Wiles for UW Superior will send it to the far side now for Thomas. Joel Thomas. Orlando Fertelman. Turning it over now. Tende taking over. Ted Tende. Now ball near side. Here's Gosh. Jackets a little slow in reacting, and the shot comes in. Short hopped and then played over the end line here by Sessions. Not a bad play considering the conditions here. Like I said, the playing surface pretty well drenched at this point. And we will have a corner kick here for the Vikings. This will be number 4 for them. Jogging over to take it on the left foot is going to be Miguel Goncalves. UWS man marking. Vikings right now with 6 players. Now 7 players are on the box as this bending ball comes in, and now it's headed up and over the bar. I think it was Bellarino. They got his head to that one, and it'll be a goal kick here for the Yellow Jackets. Patrick Sessions so far, 2 saves. Here's McLaughlin now for the Jackets off the goal kick. Trying to turn. And it'll go out of play and off of McLaughlin. Nice play by Gosh. And we'll have a substitution now for the Vikings. Nolasco's going to check out. Throw now in from Nobre. This is Campos now dribbling around, and it'll go out off of a Yellow Jacket foot. Another throw. Nobre will take it again. Back for Campos. So taken off of his foot. Now Gosh will go all the way back in the middle. And the Vikings will trigger to the far side. Now cross coming in. Back post. Here's the play across the face of goal by Gosh. Looking for Tende. Cleared away now by the Yellow Jackets. We'll have a throw near side. Nobre wants to go quickly. Now Bellarino. And a shot attempt now with the left foot will go high and wide. And it will be a goal kick here for the Yellow Jackets. Sessions will take the goal kick now from the right side. Sends it back toward midfield. Beckett getting his head to it. And now Beckett for the Yellow Jackets. Hitting it over the top. Jake Kidd trying to race it down. Picked off by Nobre. Now Van Wyland. Sending a ball to the far side, headed down by Lyman. In the path of Cavalcanti. There's a shot try from the outside with the right foot by Oliveira. Oliveira, Cavalcanti. Now Fertelman for the Yellow Jackets. Has the ball taken off of his foot by Campos. And now the Vikings, who have had virtually all of the possession here so far, 10 minutes into the second half, take it yet again. Here's Van Wyland now with the left foot. To the near side, here's Gosh. Sending a ball to the backside of the 18. Joel Thomas will clear it away, and it'll be another throw here coming up. Throw comes in now. 10-day on the outside. Now they'll leave it back. Now Campos. Leaving it on the outside. 10-day, top of the 18. Trying to get a shot away. That one deflects off of Lyman. Picked back up again by Bellarino. And they'll switch it near side. Nobre. Nobre coming forward. Now he'll leave it off. Cavalcanti. Trying to play it back, and it goes out off of Van Wyland. It'll be a throw right at midfield here for the Yellow Jackets. 34 minutes, 10 seconds remaining. Wagner's throw now for the Yellow Jackets. Finds Jake Kidd. And a foul going to be called here on Nobre as he went right into the back here of Jake Kidd. Free kick for UWS. Kind of a makeshift corner kick, really. 33 minutes, 45 seconds remaining here on the evening. Jackets still comfortably ahead 3-0. As Harvey McLaughlin will stand over this one. Short corner, really, like I said. Kind of a makeshift corner kick of sorts. Standing over this one is McLaughlin on the right foot. Jackets with 6 players in the back of the 8 of the 6. Now the ball comes in. It's loose and they score! It's the freshman Davidson. The assist to McLaughlin, and the Yellow Jackets now lead it 4-0. McLaughlin putting some spin on that one, curled it inside. And Davidson was there to pounce on it, sticks it in the back of the net. And the Jackets continuing here. That goal coming at 56-38. So Davidson, the freshman, gives the Yellow Jackets a 4-goal cushion. And for Yellow Jacket freshman Seth Davidson, goal number 12 on the season. Ties in with Jake Kidd for team high honors in that regard. And like I said, the Jackets now up by a 4 spot. I'm going to give a second assist apparently to Lyman. I didn't see the touch in there, but McLaughlin took the free kick. I guess Lyman got a piece of it. It's hard to tell sometimes from my angle. Did he? Okay. If it was pretty slight, but okay, I saw the finish. It was a well-played ball there by McLaughlin. He, like I said, curled it in with the right foot. Thought it might have taken a hop. Apparently it was touched by Lyman on to the freshman at the back post and Davidson, and he tucks it home for his 12th goal. And it's a 4-0 Yellow Jacket lead here. As off the restart, here's Cavalcanti. Just wanted to make sure. I don't have the benefit of replay from my vantage point. Evan Ludwig does, though, however, and he's telling me that Lyman got a piece of it, so I'll go ahead with that. Okay, there we go. We'll go with that. I'm sure Ben Lyman isn't going to complain, and I'm not going to either. So, okay, there we go. And we're going to have a yellow card here called or handed out against the Yellow Jackets. It's Kyle Massingham that goes into the book on that one. He came in to replace McLaughlin. Jackets up by 4. Took McLaughlin out after the last goal. In the meantime, free kick taken now by Wiles. Gives it a ride to the far side of the field. Now an angling ball near side for Gosh, and that will skip right past him and out of play. UWS going to make a substitution now. Looks like Fertelman's going to come out. Alfie Hudd's going to come back in for the Jackets. And Wagner will take the throw. Headed down now up the middle. Offside throw. Picking it up now Cavalcanti here for the Vikings. Now they'll leave it on the wide side of the field. Coming in, here's a sharp angle shot, and that one will skip wide again. And we'll have a corner kick now coming up. Interesting there, the two captains, Cavalcanti for the Vikings and Beckett for the Yellow Jackets, exchanging low fives on that one, giving each other a hand slap. Don't see that real often, but it seemed to be completely out of respect between the two guys, so that's good. In the meantime, here's the corner kick coming in. Outswinging ball toward the 6. Headed away now by Wagner to the far side of the field. And the Vikings will play it up the middle. Rios leaving it. Now to the right side, Nobre coming forward on the right foot. Nobre's ball toward the top of the 18. That will be headed wide. So Freddie Watson will get over there for the Jackets. And now he won't be able to keep it on that far side. Quiet game for Freddie Watson, somewhat uncharacteristic. He's usually right in the middle of the action offensively for UWS, but like I said, he's had a quiet evening. Not that the Jackets have really needed him in this game. But it's rare to see Freddie Watson not contribute a little bit more than he has so far tonight. Throw coming in now. Here's Ted Tende, now leaving it up the middle. Campos continuing it on now, Nobre. And now he'll give it a ride in, and ranging to his right and smothering it is going to be Sessions. That one, I think, was headed wide anyway, but Sessions not going to take any chances with it. With 29 minutes and 30 seconds remain, we played on the evening. Reminder, we'll have a brief post-game recap once we go final here. In the meantime, now the Jackets playing right near midfield with it. Here's Hudd. Flipping it over the top. Jake Kidd trying to leave it for the latest goal scorer, Seth Davidson. In fact, it's now taken by Vellerino, and now he'll send it forward. And then the Yellow Jacket 18. Sessions will just wait for it there, and he'll scoop it up here and hold on to it. And Sessions will give it a ride back toward midfield. Now here's Davidson. Massingham will send it to the far side. Wagner for the Jackets, clipping it over the top for Watson. Freddie Watson now cutting it on the left foot. Watson now stutter stepping, still going on the left foot. Clipping it through, looking for Davidson, gets through everybody, and Hughes now off of his line, and then he spins around, takes down Thomas. Then Thomas takes down Van Wylen, and now everybody's getting a little feisty here as the clock stops with 28-22 left. and a yellow card for Joel Thomas. I probably could have gone either way. I think he's probably speaking of center referee Ryan Wood, just thinking it's retaliatory there from Thomas as he's kind of chuckling about it as he comes up the field. Hughes caught him when he came down and kind of spun around and actually caught Thomas with his leg as he came out to smother that ball on the edge of the 18, and Thomas went down, and then he kept his leg up and took down Jamie Van Weiland. So it was sort of a cavalcade of legs flying there a little bit, but it results in a yellow card for Joel Thomas, and we play on here. Off the restart now, Nobre will go back here. Now ball to the far side of the field. Vikings not going back. Miguel Pinto, by the way, has checked in now on the right side defensively for the Vikings. Now Campos coming forward for Bethany Lutheran. Clipping it over the top now into the 18. Looking for a 10-day. Coming off his line was Sessions, and he'll hold on to it now top of his own 18. Sessions will give it a ride back toward midfield. Beckett. And he gets piled into from behind by Campos. Clock continuing to move here, 27:15 and counting remaining here. Wagner will stand over this one for the Yellow Jackets. 27 minutes, 5 seconds remaining. Second half. Wagner had a goal the first time these two teams played back on October 4th. Sends to the far side, Massingham winning it for UWS. Now Watson. And he'll commit a foul after he got stripped of the ball on that far side. It'll be a free kick now for the Vikings. Off the restart near side, here's Pinto. They'll send it wide now. Here's Liam Gosh. Gosh playing it out off of Alfie Hudd. Throw coming up now. Nobre will take it. Nobre again going quickly here. In for Campos, and they're going to call him on a foul throw. Saw one of those in the first game today, too. Like I said, that's a call you don't see real often at this level, but sometimes you just kind of lose your balance or lose your technique a little bit. No player wants to be called on a foul throw, though. That's as a former player myself, I've never had that distinction of having been called on a foul throw. So, as now the Vikings off the throw, played into Yellow Jacket territory, going toward the 18. Lyman able to cut it outside with the right foot. Now ball up the middle. The Vikings taking over. They've had virtually all the possession in the second half. Not unexpected in a 4-goal game here as this ball now into the 18. Lyman able to get his head to it. Now Bellarino on the far side. And they play it across the 6 to the back post, and that one too far for Gosh, who was coming in weak side. As it went right across the face of goal toward the 6, and like I said, Gosh just a half step late to get there. Throw for the Yellow Jackets now near side. Wagner will take it. More than 20 minutes into the second half. Wagner's throw. Flicked forward now by Watson, by the way, who has come to the near side, and now we're going to have another foul called as going down on that one was Jake Kidd. Pinto, the offending party for the Vikings. Free kick for UWS. Wagner standing over this one for the Jackets. Sends it now forward. The Wind getting a piece of that one. Pinto's ball forward. Headed down now by Massingham. Now Davidson losing his footing a couple times, in fact. Picked up by Campos, and he'll go to the far side with it. Ben Lyman now intercepting an angling ball for Tende, right near midfield. Jackets now. Here's Davidson playing it off into the corner. Cross coming in, top of the 18. Here's a turning and getting a shot away and leaving it high. And wide for the Yellow Jackets was Joel Thomas, I believe. And that'll allow for the substitutions now. Taylor Moore back in for the Jackets, as is Bryce Bolt. Vikings also going into their bench here. Gonna let some of their bench guys, looks like, get some time here, especially in a 4-goal contest. It's the regular season finale for Bethany Lutheran. Of course, the Jackets have one more to go tomorrow against Martin Luther, but UWS looking like they're well on their way to another regular season conference crown here in the UMAC. This would be their 8th in a row, by the way. And the Jackets were able to also win the UMAC tournament. It would be 9 in a row for the Jackets on that side. Of course, that's next week. The Jackets still have to play Martin Luther tomorrow. Throw coming in now, headed forward. There's, I think, some sentiment that the Yellow Jackets might receive the UMAC regular season trophy tonight. And I think that may be the case. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back again and look. Guess we'll find out if a piece of hardware comes out after we go final here. Of course, there's 22 minutes of time left. A lot of this is presumptuous on my part. Apologies for that. But 4-goal games at this stage that would be pretty much an unheard of thing, at least for me in my broadcasting career. And the fact that the two teams are starting to empty the benches just a little bit here. Sort of indicative, I think, that Jackets will be the number 1 seed. The Vikings will be the number 2. At least we, I think, are pretty sure of that at this point. As now Thomas sending a ball forward, looking for more on the far side. Vikings able to intercept defensively, and now they're coming back the other way. Wiles, though, intercepting right near midfield for UWS. Now here's Bolt. Bryce Bolt turning on the right foot. Kyle Massingham turning, and it sent away from him. By the way, like I said, some new players in. Will Shade now for Bethany Lutheran is in the game. Gosh still in there as well. Now coming forward here is Brian Hymas, who checked in a few moments ago, now on the outside, the Vikings. Flipping it into the 18, right in the middle. Ball's just kind of sitting there. Here's a shot attempt. That one deflects. I think it was Hymas that actually got that shot away with the right foot, and it'll be a throw now for the Vikings as they're going to make a substitution here. Stick around. We'll have a brief post-game recap once we go final. Sponsored by Synovus Energy. Yellow Jackets, like I said, closing in on another regular season crown, it appears. As the throw comes in now. Turning now is Campos. Juan Campos for Bethany Lutheran to the far side of the field. Ball toward the top of the Yellow Jacket 18. Campos bringing it down. Squared outside for Mike Vanderhorst, who's also in. Now Vanderhorst on the right foot. Thing in the middle, Taylor Moore clearing away now from the top of his own 18. And now here's Bolt. Bryce Bolt for the Yellow Jackets. Isaac Beckett will turn on the right foot. Oliveira now intercepting right at the stripe for the Vikings on the far side. Now toward the top of the 18. Here's Will Shade. And then Shade's going to get called for the foul. He got in the back there of Freddie Watson for the Yellow Jackets. Free kick. I'd expect that Coach Joe Mooney will also start bringing in some bench players here over the next several minutes. Free kick now taken by UWS, sent toward the midfield stripe. It'll now be Jacob Wiles that'll pump it this direction. And out of play as it crosses midfield. Coming toward me on my broadcast location with that one was Wiles. And now the substitution's going to come both ways here. 18:30 and counting remaining on the evening. Anderson going to check back in for the Jackets. He's going to take out Joel Thomas. Freddie Watson, also his night probably over. Throw, meanwhile, will be taken near side here by Vanderhorst. This throw comes in now. Rodrigo Cardoso in there as well. Saw him in the first half. Now there's a long ball into the 18. That'll be scooped up on a couple of hops by Sessions. Sessions will give it a ride now over midfield. Beckett getting ahead to it. Sends it forward. Back in the 18 for Hughes. He'll now send it near side for Pinto. Now Hymas. Sending it over midfield to the far side of the field. Foot race over there between Anderson and Oliveira. Oliveira turning inside. Shade will leave it down. And then a half volley attempt there by Hymas will skip wide and over the end line for another goal kick here. Sessions now will give it a ride. Jack Lay is the player who's in now, by the way, for the Yellow Jackets. First time we've seen him. And now here is a ball over the top from Isaac Beckett into the path of Bryce Bolt. Kyle Massingham now to the outside for Lay, and he has the ball stripped off of his foot. Vanderhorst coming forward. His ball to the near side, and this one will be cleared away now by Wagner. Vanderhorst will stand over this one. About probably 45, 50 yards away from Sessions' goal on this free kick, by the way. Top of the 18. And Vanderhorst hits it woefully short. It'll be grabbed now here by UWS's Kyle Massingham. Now Bolt has Anderson on the run. It's over the top. Melvin Anderson now trying to win the race over there with Pinto. And it'll go out of play. Actually, it's Hymas that'll clear it away. It'll be a throw now for the Yellow Jackets, far side. Beckett's going to check out now with just a quarter of an hour remaining in this one. Meanwhile, throw for the Yellow Jackets, far side. It'll be taken now by Ben Lyman. Lyman on the throw. Played right up the middle. Hud now sending it in with the left foot. Hughes ranging to his left will grab that one, and he'll hold on to it here, at least for the time being. And now he'll play it outside for Mike Vanderhorst. Vanderhorst. Now Cardoso. And this one will go out of play. Vanderhorst now. Cavalcanti. Out off of Alfie Hood. It'll be another throw here coming up. 14 minutes and change now left in this one. As we tick down toward completion. Now the Vikings playing a ball up the far wing. Jackets trying to bring it down. Here's Massingham. He gets piled into from behind by Cavalcanti, and it will be a free kick here for the Yellow Jackets. 13:30 now left in this one. And Wilds will trigger it now near side. Here's Rowan Wagner. Wagner for UWS. Heavy touch. And to keep it in the air. Wagner. Now we'll send it outside. Here's Melvin Anderson. Anderson for the Yellow Jackets has a couple of runners. Comes in the 18. Now crosses it back post. Nobody there. Will Shade for the Vikings will clear it. Now Jimmy Jamison will tee one up with the right foot, and he'll send that one high and wide. And a goal kick here coming up for Hughes. So the Vikings, unless they make a furious comeback, are going to end the regular season at 11-6-2 and go 10-2 in the UMAC, while the Yellow Jackets will improve to 13-6 overall and 11-0 in the UMAC. And now this one will come near side, and this one will go out of play. We'll have a throw now coming up. Vanderhorst on the throw. Plays it in the middle now. For Vasco Carrera. Carrera now to the far side of the field. This ball over the top. Now Lay for the Yellow Jackets. Finding Kyle Massingham. Massingham losing it momentarily, and now Sessions will just blast it out of play deep in his own territory. It'll be a throw here coming up as we approach 10 minutes now left on the evening here. In some ways, I suppose it would be kind of, or it is a little bit, I guess, disappointing that essentially the game was decided in 5 minutes, the first 5 minutes, in fact. While the rain was still coming down, and Yellow Jackets, like I said, not leaving much doubt tonight, scoring 3 times in the first 5 minutes. You can't really ask for much more than that. They've added one so far here in the second half, but Jackets running away and hiding in that first 5 minutes. And like I said, I was pretty much had my jaw dropped on that, the way that it all played out for UWS in that one. As we now tick down, we're under 11 minutes now left. Free kick here for the Vikings as they send it in with the left foot. I've seen the Jackets score multiple goals in a short space of time before, but I'm not sure I've ever seen it quite that quickly. Especially to start a game. They scored, 3 goals in a very short space of time, about 5 minutes against Northwestern earlier this year on this field. But that was after the game had already been decided and was in the second half. Jackets went on to win that game 9-1. But I'm not sure that, in fact, I'll probably have to defer to either Ryan Castaneda or Evan Ludwig or anybody else that might look it up. But I can't remember the last time the Jackets opened a game scoring 3 goals in the first 4:22. In the meantime, by the way, there's an injured Yellow Jacket on that far side. It looks like it might be Alfie Hood that took the knock there. Clock stopped, 10 minutes, 30 seconds now left. Thankfully, it looks like the wind has also died down. Looks like the track is beginning to dry a bit, but boy, it was pretty. And looks like the Jackets are now going to bring James Colt in to replace the injured Alfie Hood. In the meantime, by the way, shots, Vikings 16-9 the advantage, although the Jackets have a 5-3 edge in shots on goal. Not all that surprising, I guess, considering how the way the game started. Saying that the Vikings have probably had more overall possession than the Yellow Jackets, but UWS has just been so efficient tonight. Talked about the lack of clinical finishing from the Yellow Jacket women in the first game. The Yellow Jacket men have been clinical and more here so far in this one. 5 shots on goal, 4 goals in the back of the net. In the meantime, now the ball near midfield. Here's Rowan Wagner for UWS. He'll find Jack Lay on the near wing. We'll go back now, Wagner. Sending a ball to the far side. It'll be headed down now by the Vikings. Some hand fighting going on over there. Ball going to be called on Colt. It'll be a free kick here for the Vikings. Now under 10 minutes remaining in this one. Pass to the near side now. Here's Pinto. Shade on the wing. Vanderhorst now coming forward. Lay with a slide tackle. Sends it out for a Vikings throw. Now Taylor Moore gets dumped from behind by Cavalcanti. He's had a couple of hard falls here in this second 45 minutes as Diogo Cavalcanti, team captain. Free kick here for the Yellow Jackets. We played forward. UWS right now with 4 players getting ready to check in here at the next opportunity. Carrera sending it to the far side. Now a ball over the top. Intercepted by Wiles, who has really distinguished himself defensively for UWS, taking over as a central defender after the graduations of Harry Ambler and Will Mindstrom, 2 guys that played in the middle for the Yellow Jackets last season. Wiles, who had his numbers increase in terms of playing time last year, and he has been a rock-solid contributor for the Yellow Jackets this season in that central defensive spot. In the meantime, the Vikings now on that far side. Ball find its way to the wing. Deep in Yellow Jacket territory. Anderson trying to turn it out for UWS. No, Massingham will just shepherd it out of play for a Yellow Jacket throw, and the Jackets will make some more substitutions here. Jordan Altman back in. Elijah Altman also in for the first time, so both Altman brothers are out there at the moment. 7:28 left here in this one. Jackets going to rest, I think, up a little bit here. Some players heading into that last game tomorrow against Martin Luther. Free kick here now for the Vikings. Left-footed ball now coming forward. Skips near side. Here's Lay for the Jackets, trying to trigger it out for Colt. Shade now has it slid off of his foot by Lay. It'll be a throw now for the Vikings. Takes it quickly for Vanderhorst near wing. Cross comes into the 6. Cut off by Wiles with the left foot. Jackets clearing it up the middle. And now Elijah Altman will turn, and now we'll have a whistle and a foul called against UWS. Free kick here for the Vikings. Cavalcanti standing over this one. Hymas will take it, it looks like. Clip it over the top. Ball goes through everybody. And it will be a goal kick here for Sessions. Sessions so far with 3 saves in the game. Looking for the shutout here. Foul call on the Yellow Jackets off the goal kick. Far side against UWS, right in front of the Yellow Jacket bench. It'll be a free kick now for the Vikings. Ticking down toward the last 5 minutes here of the evening from Superior Choice Credit Union Stadium. Jordan Altman now the outside. Anderson for UWS will lift it into Bethany Lutheran territory. Now Elijah Altman with the steal. Gives it back. Out on top now the Jackets will play it to the wide side. Anderson. And now he'll take the opportunity to go all the way back. Ben Lyman now clipping it over the top, looking for Elijah Altman. And it will be headed wide now defensively by the Vikings. 4 minutes and change now left. Now Wiles for the Yellow Jackets. Another foul going to be called here against the Vikings. As we're about to go under 4 minutes left, and let's see if anybody else enters the game here for the Jackets. Joe Mooney, one of those coaches who likes to get as many guys in any game that he possibly can. So I wouldn't rule it out, although it's entirely possible he'll just leave this lineup out here for the remaining 3:48 as Wiles getting into this one with the right foot. Now Elijah Altman. Valentin Soares was dumped by the Vikings defensively. We play on, no foul call, and they play it over the top now into Yellow Jacket territory. Callum Green, by the way, is back in for the Yellow Jackets. He got a start today on the left outside back position. And here's the ball now on the outside for Anderson. Leaving it in the middle. Here's Altman. Elijah Altman on the left foot. Turns and gets a shot away, and the save is made by Hughes. We go under 3 minutes now left. Elijah Altman with a nifty little move to the middle there off that pass from Melvin Anderson, getting the shot away. Save made by Hughes. At his second save of the match. Corner kick for UWS now far side. Corner kick now into the middle of the 18. Comes over the top of everybody. Now run down here by Soares. That one will go out of play, and it'll be a throw now for the Vikings. Throw comes in now for Shade. That one also out of play. About to go under 2 minutes now left in this one. Jackets on their way to another conference crown, it would appear. Although the far side now for Bethany Lutheran. Here is a slide tackle by Melvin Anderson for the Jackets to break that play up. And now Jordan Altman. Now Vanderhorst. Will Shade to the outside. On the right side, Cardoso. On for Shade. And he loses the handle. It'll be a goal kick here coming up for Patrick Sessions as we have 75 seconds now left. And it looks like we are anticipating the Yellow Jackets being awarded the UMAC trophy for the 8th straight season. As we go under 1 minute now left. UMAC regular season crown all but assured here for UWS as Sessions sends that ball over midfield. Here's Jordan Altman. Altman for the Yellow Jackets. Now on the outside, 40 seconds now left. So stick around Yellow Jacket TV for that. We'll jump into our post-game show immediately once we go final here. Free kick here now with 22 seconds left. Melvin Anderson will take it, back post. Headed back across the face of goal. Cleared up the middle, brought down now by Wiles. 10 seconds. 7 seconds now left. Sessions now coming running out to meet a ball across the midfield line. And the Yellow Jackets, as the clock expires, will win it. Final score here, Yellow Jackets win it 4-0. Jump right into our post-game recap here. And our post-game show sponsored by Synovus Energy. UWS wasting no time jumping out on top on this one. Took all of 5 minutes for the Jackets to take complete control here tonight, and they cruise the rest of the way. And as we jump into our recap of the scoring in this one, Jake Kidd, the first of 2 goals for him, a brace for the senior here from Superior. His 11th and 12th goals of the season. UWS's Jake Kidd scores at 1:49 in the first half. Ends up being the game winner from Joel Thomas, first of 2 assists for Thomas. And UWS led it 1-0. A minute and 54 seconds later, Jacob Wiles, his second of the season, unassisted. Off of a throw from Rowan Wagner, made it 2-0. Then at 4:22, Kidd with his second of the game, his 12th of the season, again from Joel Thomas to make it 3-0. And then Seth Davidson at 56:38 off of a free kick from Harvey McLaughlin, also getting a touch in there and therefore getting an assist, was Ben Lyman, and that's where it ended. Final score here, Yellow Jackets winning it by the score of 4-0. Final numbers in this one, the Vikings outshot the Yellow Jackets 16-10 for the game, although UWS with a 6-3 advantage in shots on goal in the contest. Jackets didn't have a corner kick tonight, which is a rarity for them. Actually, they did have one, but it came late in the contest. 5 corner kicks for Bethany Lutheran in this one. A total of 4 cards were handed out, 2 yellows to the Jackets and 2 to the Vikings. A total of 25 fouls were called, 15 against UWS. And 2 offside whistled against Bethany Lutheran, none against the Yellow Jackets. In terms of goalkeeper saves in this one for the Yellow Jackets, Patrick Sessions gets the shutout with his 3 saves in this one, while Daniel Hughes takes the loss for Bethany Lutheran with 2 saves. The Yellow Jackets with the win now, 13-6 overall, 11-0 in the UMAC with 1 game left to play. The Vikings, meanwhile, closing out the regular season at 11-6-2. They finish at 10-2 in the UMAC. UWS, by the way, on the field right now, if you're watching on Yellow Jacket TV, awaiting the UMAC Championship regular season trophy. This is the 8th straight season that the Yellow Jackets have won the UMAC regular season crown. So congratulations to head coach Joe Mooney and company. Up next for the Yellow Jackets, they'll have Martin Luther tomorrow. That'll be, again, a Yellow Jacket TV only broadcast. 3:30 p.m. the opening kick of that one, 3:20 on Yellow Jacket TV. That'll be game 2 of our regular season doubleheader finale. Yellow Jacket women will be taking on Martin Luther in the first game starting at 1 p.m. here. I'll also have the play-by-play for both of those. A big thank you to Gus Schupp, who was my engineer back at 91.3 FM for actually both games here, both the men's and the women's game. Gus Schupp back at 91.3 FM. Also a big thank you to Evan Ludwig, who was my engineer with Yellow Jacket TV for both games. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast, and I hope you'll join us for the regular season finales for both the Yellow Jacket men and women tomorrow here at Superior Choice Credit Union Stadium. So for Gus Schupp back at 91.3 FM KUWS, and for Evan Ludwig with Yellow Jacket TV, this is Matt Johnson. One more time repeating the final score. Yellow Jackets, another conference crown as they ring the victory bell to our left. The final score here from SCCU Stadium, Yellow Jackets 4, Bethany Lutheran 0. Thanks for watching or listening, everybody. We'll be talking again tomorrow. This has been UWS Men's Soccer on 91.3 FM KUWS Superior and on Yellow Jacket TV, an affiliate of the UMAC Sports Network.